Man, do we have something special today? The legendary Bayview-Hunters Point Harbor Road, San Francisco pioneer, hip hop legend, Wyser, formerly known as Budwyser. Welcome to FogBay TV, my brother.
Man, what's up with you, man? What's up with you, fam?
Man, we so glad, happy to have you here.
I'm glad to be here, bro, man. It's always good to be surrounded by love, brother.
That's it, and it's all love, man. Everybody at FogBay, we are definitely fans.
Oh, yeah, man.
And happy to have you in the house so that we can ask you some questions.
I'm glad to be here, brother. Ask on.
You know, from your early days, coming from Florida to the city, on down to the new projects, and a blessing I hope you can give us at the end of this.
Sounds good, brother.
All right, so I kind of already touched on the first question, Wyser. Tell us about your early years, being from Florida, and the experience moving to San Francisco, and what was going on in the city at that time.
Well, just picture yourself being a little lad from the country, running around barefooted, overalls on, got pigs on the farm, you got, ducks and, goats and stuff on the farm. And then here it is, you coming out here to this big old city, 11 years old, place called San Francisco, big old tall buildings, when the tallest thing you seen was the top of the barnyard.
Wow.
And you got cars moving fast, you got buses, you got electrical cars moving, and you got a bunch of people, stuff that you might only see on TV. And you're a kid, and you experiencing this now for the first time ever. That's what I seen.
All right, and we're gonna kind of get right into this thing, man. We all know you from the Bayview-Hunters Point section, Harbor Road notably, and I want to go into a question that I think a lot of folks have either thought about or maybe they haven't thought about. But we want to know about the culture on Harbor Road that produced fellas like you in the hip hop game, fellas like RBL Posse, T-Lo, Herm, all these talented individuals, NOH Posse. What was going on in that section to produce such powerhouse artists?
Well, really, it's simple. Hunters Point at this time was a family. We was one family, man. It was a cash cow, to be honest. Money flowing all through, at the time and area when hustling was around. I'm just keeping it real. And, we had love for each other. Hunters Point was all together, was love. If you know the rumors of Hunters Point, they call us hungry people. And we were hungry at that time. So being on Harbor Road, we looked at ourselves as being pioneers. We didn't look at ourselves as being no better than West Point or no better than Oakdale or no better than Double Rock or no better than 3rd Street. We just was Harbor Road. And we had a lot of brothers that was hungry and they wanted that money. And we just went after it. And it just made us a tight-knit family, more like an empire.
Family connection on Harbor Road that produced this. Because many times you hear about the hustling piece, or you hear about the violence that was going on, but you speak of the family. Brothers was close-knit, handling business.
Exactly. Brothers that, that had a love for each other. We had each other's back. We were ride or dies, from the OGs, Dougie Fresh, CC and Hurl, Tone Tucker and Ben, Flop, Nora Tiger, Herm Lewis, down to the, the youngsters, Chris, Black Sea, which is Chris, Larry, JJ, Quindell.
All right. And with that family approach, we know that that all that happened amid the violence and amid the crack epidemic coming in the 80s. This was all leading up to what we call the golden age of Bay Area hip hop.
Exactly.
How did all that and everything that was going on around you and those other brothers, how did that influence your music?
Well, me, I started off gospel rap,
Right.
So being a part of this family before we even started hustling, me being about 15, I would go down to the little church that was in the community, and funny story, true story.
Ahead,
a couple of the homies, Quindell and Jerry and Tex, they followed me down there, and we used to dress up and do the little gospel rap, you know, because I was a
Right.
gospel rapper, and you know, so I always had rap in me anyway. And at this time, with you know this culture going on, you know, K-Mill had a thing called Battle of the Rappers,
Right.
and you know that just took the Bay Area by surprise. And me being already a rapper, it was, you know, only fair that I jump on there, and you know, put my place, Hunters Point, you know, Harbor Road, on the map on this Battle of the Rappers, and you know, solidify us. Like, wait a minute, you know, you got Mission, you know, you got, you know, Lakeview, you got Fillmore, you got all these people on this, you know, Battle of the Rappers. You know, wait a minute, let me represent Hunters Point. So that's what, you know, prompt me to go and jump on this Battle of the Rappers, and you know, put myself out there.
All right, and we're gonna walk that right into a question about your first project. Many know about the product You Can't Fade Me, but there were projects and there was work before that. Tell us about your first project, how it was put together, who was involved, how you and Darace got together.
Me and Darace, I would have to say that first. When I first moved here from Florida, I lived in Fillmore. A lot of people didn't know that.
All right.
I lived right in Fillmore on McAllister. And I was just doing my gospel rap or whatever, and went to a church, Pentecostal Temple, Church of God in Christ, right there in Fillmore, Bishop B.R. Stewart. And I was 15 preaching. I was a preacher at that time and teaching Sunday school for the young adults. And that's how I met Darace. We sung in the choir together. So by the time I left Fillmore, we moved to Hunters Point, and which is Harbor Road. Of course, the rap was still in me, and Darace ended up moving there. So we reconnected. We had never really fell apart, but we just reconnected.
Okay.
Okay, so now here it is. You got this battle of the rappers going on. Now, first, I have to say this. When I did battle of rappers, I called myself Budwyser. Okay. And a lot of fans might want to know, where did I get that name Budwyser? Okay, that name Budwyser came because before I even went on battle rappers, it was a guy from Sunnydale called himself the Millard, but I always thought that he said Miller, not the Miller. It was the Miller, but I always thought he said Miller. And he was on there representing Sunnydale, and he was doing what he's supposed to do. He's from Sunnydale, hustler from Sunnydale, represent Sunnydale. Yeah. But he kind of put down Hunters Point.
Okay.
So I said, wait a minute. Okay, you the Miller. I'm gonna call myself Budwyser, and I'm gonna be the champion for Hunters Point, because we need a champion. We need somebody to represent us. So a lot of the battling that I did went back and forth against the Miller. He dissing Hunters Point, dissing Harbor. I'm dissing Sunnydale. And so that name just took off. I liked it. Budwyser, it just became a household name overnight.
That's right.
And this is before the first project. So a lot of cats said, man, listen, man, you need to make a CD. You know, and I knew that it was a beer called Budwyser. So I knew I had to spell my name different. And that's why I spelled my name, you know, Budwyser instead of the EISER. Spelled it a little different from the beer, in case it came back to bite me. And I went into the studio. I was introduced to TC from a producer named Loke. I was introduced to Loke. Loke put me on with TC, and me and TC, we clicked. Wasn't nobody else really doing nothing with him. He was a DJ, and he was in there good with his music, and we put together the first project, Life as a Nigger. Me, him, and Darace.
All right.
You know.
Well, what tracks were on that album when you first dropped that?
Well, it was 5 tracks on there. The one that stood out the most was Darling Donna Baby. That was a household name. That was the one that the radio gravitated to. Because you have to realize, at this time, it's nobody really rapping. You got over in Fillmore, you had Huey MC, and then you had Forte, and then San Quentin and JT the Bigger Figure. They wasn't really doing nothing at that time that Life as a Nigger dropped. Huey MC had a project out. In Lakeview, you had Cool Nut them that was tinkering around with stuff, but nothing was really dropped at that time.
That's right.
That Life as a Nigger. So the Bay Area was able to gravitate to, hey, it's something from Hunters Point, something from the city. and they were able to put that on the radio. I won't say that was the first song that KML put on the radio to represent Hunters Point or represent the city, but that was a song that they had on the radio at that time. Life as a Nigger was another song, but it would have, you know, explicit lyrics, so it couldn't go on the radio. But the radio played Blind Date. Blind Date was a song that they played. And then you had Homies on the Hill, and then you had Blind to the Game. So, you know, at that first time, Hunters Point had never had a rapper or never had the opportunity to have someone represent them. Now, before we jump to the next question, it was a group, and I want to always give homage to them. It was called MC Ivory and Antoine 800.
Okay.
And they were out of Sherview. They did put a little something out, but it didn't really get noticed. So, you know, when Life as a Nigger came out, that got noticed. But honestly, they did put something out.
But just to step back just a little bit, because I've always been interested to know, and this may be for me and it may be for the listening crowd, and I hopefully someone has this question in their mind. Life as a Nigger, spelled Nigger.
Right.
What inspired the name of that album?
What inspired it was living in Hunters Point and living right there on Harbor Road, being surrounded with this family of gangsters, family of brothers that had my back. We had hitters, you know, the real hitters. We didn't have to shoot you. We had dudes that had hands. You know, myself, you know, being into martial arts, Black C, his little brother, Baby Dre, Larry Jr. had hands. And, you know, the OGs, they always help their own. And so I said, life as a nigger, you know, that's me. You know, I'm living the life as a nigger in this type of environment.
That's right.
So that's what inspired that song.
Hey, man, we winding up to the next project, man. Classic album. And I'm excited to ask this question. The product. You Can't Fade Me. Tell us about that product, Budwyser.
That project came along because by this time, Budwyser was a household name.
Yes, sir.
I had I'm talking about hundreds of house parties on Harbor Road. And, you know, we just was having fun, just enjoying life. You know, I wanted them to realize, like, listen, man, you can't fade me. You know, this Budwyser is something else. You know, this is an iconic legend. This Budwyser name is taking off.
That's right.
You know, and Hunters Point is jumping, you know, and I never was one to say Hunters Point was just the biggest thing in the city because, you know, Fillmore held their own. I give them props, you know.
That's right.
They had their hitters, they had their rappers, you know. Lakeview, you know, with Coolnut, they had their hitters and their rappers. Forte being over in Fillmore. Then you got, you know, Sunnydale. So it was a lot of turfs that was in the city. But, you know, I didn't focus on that. I'm saying in Hunters Point, this is Budwyser. You can't fade me.
That's right.
You know.
That's right.
So I felt like, you know, we were an unstoppable force in Hunters Point. You know, we had money, we had fame. And then here it is. I'm in the studio at the same time with Black C. Mr. C, they're recording RBL Posse, and they got a banger finna drop. We both mainly dropped at the same time. The product, You Can't Fade Me, and then right around the corner, we linked up with Palo Alto with Totally Insane with Mike 10 and AD Kapone. So, you know, they're part of the family now. So I'm like, man, you know, I'm feeling good about myself and about these projects.
Man, Wyser, we have a very, very special surprise for you. Speaking of East Palo Alto.
I love surprises, man.
Speaking of East Palo Alto and Totally Insane, a legendary group, AD Kapone, Mac 10. We have AD Kapone here with us today. And we want to bring him on the set.
Oh, man, you got what? Man, that's a good surprise, man. Yeah, that. Bring my boy. Where my boy at, man? I ain't seen him in a minute.
Okay, we're going to have him come on right now. We have special guests. AD Kapone, Totally Insane. Now, Wyser was just talking about a family thing and that. Totally Insane and AD Kapone are part of that family.
Definitely.
Can you tell us a little bit about that, brother?
Well, when for all y'all to know the Totally Insane story, it always starts with my man Mike D, and then it leads into San Francisco. Of course, after Mike Washington gave me the money and I went, set up the date with TC, set up the appointment with TC. We went up to Bank Road Studio, which I think at the time was in Lakeview, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We went to Bank Road Studio in Lakeview. This is 1989.
So this is still the 80s. It's not even into 90s.
It's the last year of the 80s.
Last year of the
even
80s,
to the 90s yet. Approaching Bank Road Studio, as soon as we walked in the door, the first three people that we met, before I even gave TC the money to book the time, was my man Budwyser right here, my man Kugna, may he rest in peace, and Nate. Nate used to be the owner of Bank Road, I believe, at the time.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
Right. And we met them three cats before we even got to TC. TC was in the studio.
Yep.
And I mean, ever since then, man, I mean, me and this brother right here are Totally Insane, and Budwyser and Darace, man, it's always been a family thing, you know. Some of our first shows has been with Budwyser and Darace.
Yep.
We've opened up for Budwyser and Darace many a times. I know such the influence that he has on RBL, you know. Black Sea Mississippi was some of our best friends in the game.
Right.
Still is. Still is, yes.
Still is.
R.I.P. to Mr. C, but Black Sea is still one of my close friends. I talk to him all the time.
Right.
And this man right here is the nucleus for all that. Because before RBL Posse and before Hitman and NOH and, you know, it was this man right here. He was doing the house parties. He was doing the annual Sundial Festival up at Kiska on Harbor Road.
Right.
And I mean, Thugville. You know what I'm saying?
That's
I mean,
right.
Thousands of people.
Look, I'm from East Palo Alto, murder capital of the nation and all that.
Uh-huh.
But I knew Harbor Road was for real. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no joke. And yeah, man, I was in the studio a couple times. They made a few of their hits.
Yeah.
I think I was there when you made not that You Can't Fade Me, but
Niggas on Shit I Toss?
yes.
Yeah.
I was there when they recorded that.
It was. Good old times.
Good old times. Good old times. TC is one of my best friends. And like I say, man, this man right here is a San Francisco staple, along with Rappin' Forte, along with San Quinn and JT. This man right here is amongst that Mount Rushmore of San Francisco Bay Area. For sure.
I also at Kapone, I ear hustle a conversation about you coming on down to the Harbor Road, man, to one of those house parties.
Oh, man.
And
not the house.
Some things went down, man, that you can laugh at now, but I know it was serious.
Not the Budwyser house party.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Tell him about that.
All right,
man.
I'm going to tell him. Me and my partner, Eddie Watts, shout out to my nigga Eddie Watts. We went down to San Francisco to kick it with TC one night. It was on the weekend, Friday night. So we just popped up on TC to go fuck with T for a minute. He had a date set up. So he was like, look, I got this little chick coming through. I'm going to drop Budwyser and them got a party popping up there on Harbor Road. I'm going to drop y'all off. Y'all can go fuck with Budwyser for a couple hours and I'm going to come back and get y'all. I'm like, all right, cool. If I fuck with Bud, yeah, it's all great. So we went up there, party popping. Stick on the inside and the out. I mean, the whole street is flooded. You know, Bud throw them parties. Budwyser throw them parties. So we up in the spot. Budwyser get on the mic. Oh shit, got my boy AD Kapone Totally Insane in the house. So he spent the whole album. He threw the whole album on.
Yeah.
He had the house party in there rocking. So two cats, I don't know who the cats was. They get to arguing in the middle of the floor. They get to pushing each other. And next thing I know, they drew down and start busting. These motherfuckers busting inside the house party.
People running everywhere.
People running everywhere. I mean, man, people was tearing holes through the wall to get up out of there. So me and Eddie, we running up the street. We get down to the end of Harbor Road, and it's like, damn, we don't know where to go. It's like, wow, we don't know where to go. And like in slow motion, like Boys in the Hood, a gray Bronco pull up, all windows tinted and shit. Stop right there where we was at. Me and Eddie looking like, oh shit, here we go. The window come down hella slow, and I just hear, Ed, what the fuck you doing out here? It was my nigga Black C. Shout out to my nigga Black C. Get your ass in the car, man. What the hell y'all out here? What y'all doing out here, man? He's like, man. So we told him the story. He took us back to TC spot, cussed TC out and shit. And, you know.
Yeah, man, that true story, too. True story, man. That was deep.
But the Sundial shows that he used to do every year in Kiska, man, was big events, man. I remember we headlined one year.
Yeah.
And then next year, RBL headlined. And those was big, man. those really made me feel like a star coming.
It did. It
getting
did.
that love.
You talking about what? 3,000, 4,000 people, man.
Oh, definitely.
And back then, I didn't ask no city for nothing. We just gave the parties, and we had the stage set up right there. Big giant speakers, man. The cats was barbecuing, girls running around. 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people, man. And I always had my boys them come out, man. And
real story.
And real
True
love
story.
to Mike 10, man. What's up to you? And Ad, man. They come and they support. And it was love, man. They was part of that family, man. I'm telling you, Budwyser itself was just love, you know. And he'll tell you anytime cats see me coming, and me and Darace, me and Black Seed, Mr. C, we done went out to Palo Alto tons of times. Always love, man. To see me coming, you know.
That's what it's supposed to be. That's right.
Real talk.
Man, that last segment with AD Kapone was fire, man.
Man, yeah, man, that's my boy, man. That's family. That's real family.
Hey, that's big.
Another brother from another mother.
That's big, man. Hey, so we gonna keep on moving forward in your interview, man, and kind of get into why you stepped away from the music. You know, hearing Ad talk about some of them crazy times, man, and the things that were going on at the time. Tell your audience why you stepped away from the music in the 90s. And then we'll get into, after that, we'll get into what you were doing, what you've been doing in between time.
Like Ad said, and I said, it's true. I mean, it was crazy back then. It was fun, but it was crazy. And, you know, sad to say, it got more crazier, you know. And at this time, as the time went on and went on and went on, Harbor Road just started to self-destruct. It just started to turn on itself. And, you know, it wasn't just, you know, Harbor. It was basically Hunters Point itself. You know, turf started turning on each other. And then, you know, everybody fighting for power, fighting for money, fighting for success. And Harbor Road started to self-destruct. And a lot of things started happening. A lot of things started going on that I can't even talk about. Bring tears in my eyes. And you know, in a kind of, you know, hurt my heart, some of the things that happened, you know, but it just, in a better way of saying, Harbor Road self-destructed. And so I took this opportunity, you know, me being a preacher, me being raised in church, because it was a lot of times I could have been killed. It was a lot of brothers that was murdered in the game, right there in Hunters Point. A lot of brothers that was killed and murdered, and, you know, young. Some brothers wasn't even 21. And I had been to about 50 funerals by this time. That's a lot of funerals. And then my own brother got killed and murdered. My own flesh and blood, my own brother was murdered. I took that opportunity to say, you know what? Enough is enough. And I just stepped away. I never stepped away from rapping because it was always in me. That's a gift that God gave me. And anything about the Bible, if you're a spiritual person, you know gifts come without repentance. I couldn't walk away from rap because that's what God gave me. That was my gift. But I just walked away from the scene. I didn't walk away from the love of Harbor because my mother still lives on Harbor Road to this day.
That's right.
You know, she's the last of the dying breed on Harbor. You know, the last mother out of all the homies. She's still on Harbor to this day. God bless her. And but I just stepped away from the lifestyle, from the game, and just went to Florida to just reconstruct my life, reconstruct myself.
That's right. Okay, Wyser, you just talked about getting down to San Francisco for a while, going down to Florida, getting back down south, and reconstructing your life.
Right, right.
Tell us about that experience. Tell us about your transition from Budwyser to now Wyser.
When I left and I, you know, went down to Florida, was down there about 12 years. I had a lot of time to think, a lot of time to gather myself. Looking back at all the people who were killed and murdered, you know, even remember my good friend, Mr. C, you know, was murdered, you know, up and coming, you know, rap artist, you know, looking at how Harbor Road self-destructed, looking at how my brother was murdered. And now I took this opportunity here in Florida, you know, what's next for me? And it was simple for me. I was raised in the church. You know, I was preaching at 15 and 16. And I had to think about it as I was praying one day and God said, I spared your life for a reason. You know, because just to step back a little bit, it was one era in back in the Hunters Point that, you know, was a rumor that I got murdered, and it was people calling me, flooding my phone. They was coming to my house. They was knocking on the door, and they was saying, "Oh my God, is it true? We heard Budwyser just got murdered." And that wasn't the wake up call. I still stayed a little bit, but that just brought me back to like, wow. God said, you know, I didn't let you go to prison. You know, I didn't let you get murdered. You know, I didn't let you ever get shot. Never let you get stabbed. I protected you for a reason. You know, he said you was walking through the wilderness and I carried you. You know, and it brought me back to Christ. Indeed. So I gave my life, rededicated my life back to Christ, and got back in church and got back to doing what God called me to do from the beginning, and start back preaching. And I knew that at that point, it could never be Budwyser again. Because Budwyser was the old me. And when God come into your life, you will become a new creature in Christ. And I know I could never go back to being Budwyser. And if I ever wanted to rap again, I couldn't use Budwyser. So I called myself Wyser. Wyser meaning that I wised up from the lifestyle that I once lived, wised up from the things that I once did, wised up from the ways that I once had, and became wiser. And now that when I started back rapping as Wyser, I use my raps as my testimony of where I've been and where God has brought me.
And that's really interesting, that the pruning of the first three letters of your original name, the rest stands true.
Right.
So the same brother just haven't been pruned.
Exactly.
Now it's Wyser. All right, man, and that walks right into the next question, man. Your current ambitions, your ministry. You have a movie coming. You have additional projects that are coming. And we're going to talk about your discography a little later. But, man, please tell your listening audience about what's up and coming for Wyser.
Well, right now, I'm working on this movie. And I'm definitely not going to give no punchlines away because you're going to have to wait to see it.
That's right.
But I will tell you this much. The movie is about two identical twin brothers. One is a preacher and one is a drug dealer. And these two brothers haven't spoken in 10 years. They don't get along. And they're identical twins. And anybody know with most twins you have a connection. Their connection is completely broken. And this movie is about bringing them two together, and it doesn't happen until a death occurs in the family. That's all I'm going to give you about that movie. We'll start shooting production of that movie in July, and it should be ready to be seen. It'll be a YouTube movie. It'll be ready to be seen sometime in August or September. Besides that project, I just dropped a mixtape called Every Day in the Bay. Got 3 videos out right now from this new project. I Don't Know, which is IDK, which is on YouTube. Another video out, All This Pain, which is on YouTube. And another video out, What the Haters Say. That's also on YouTube. And that's all under the profile of Wyser, if you pull it up on YouTube. But if you go on YouTube and put in Wyser videos, I got 30-something plus videos from the last 6 projects I've done over the last 8 years.
All right, and let's talk about your those projects. We know we have Life as a Nigger.
First project.
We know we have The Product, You Can't Fade.
Second project.
We have Haters Come and Go.
First project under Wyser.
We have Keep It Moving.
Second project under Wyser.
We have Here in the Bay.
Third project under Wyser.
We have Look No Further.
Fourth project under Wyser.
We have Sitting by the River.
Fifth project under Wyser.
We have I Hear.
Sixth project under Wyser.
We have Every Day in the Bay.
The brand new one under Wyser, the 7th project.
And where Wyser can all those projects be found currently?
If you were to go on YouTube and just put in Wyser, you see videos from several different of the projects. But the project itself, if you go to DAPIFF, DAPIFF, you can download it on the Play Store, DAPIFF, and install it and go to search and just put in Wyser, WYSER, and you can see, or either you can put in Budwyser, Wyser, and it'll pull up all of those projects, and you can download the songs for free. And I know I might be missing out on money. You know, I'm still a grandfather into the old thing. You know, I probably need to reach out and get me some Crybaby or get me some iTunes or whatever. But right now, God has blessed me to still be here, to still be able to bless you guys with lyrics and good music and good songs. So I give you that for free. Now in the future, I can't promise you that it's gonna be free. But right now, those projects you can go on DatPiff and put in Wyser and pull up any of those projects. And I'm telling you, and hey, FogBay introduction, FogBay Entertainment can tell you, my boy B Mike can tell you, and Courtney, it's some slaps on there. In different, I'm not gonna say every song slaps from every CD, but throughout the different CDs, it is some bangers that y'all missing out on. Y'all like, wow, you got this. This is supposed to be on the radio, but y'all already know how the Bay Area is.
I hear that, man. And please give your listening audience and the public your current social media site so they can connect with Wyser.
You want to connect with Wyser, you can pull me right up. Basically, I just keep it simple. You go on Facebook, you just put in Henry Robinson. That's me. There's no fan base for that, and you can connect with me on Facebook. But if you go to Twitter, you can put 15. You can put at 15 Wyser, and then same Henry Robinson on Instagram, and just pull me right up. You know, I keep it simple and connect with me or whatever. And like I said, YouTube has the videos under Wyser. You can even actually go on YouTube. I mean, you can no. You can actually even just go to Google and put in Wyser. That's how deep it is. Social media. Come on, y'all. This is 2020. Go to Google. Just Google Wyser videos, and it'll pull up anything you want to know about Wyser.
Okay, and spell Wyser for us once again.
That's Wyser.
All right.
Wyser, Wyser. And there's no cursing. There's no disrespecting women. There's no bragging about what I do and what I got and don't got. Got a little something, but I'm not talking about it, you know. And it's just good lyrics. You know, in my old school, people call me a storyteller. And there's a lot of songs in there just telling a story. Stuff that you can listen to, stuff your kids can listen to, and the beats slap. These ain't no garbage beats. These beats are slappers.
All right. And Wyser, we got to give you your what they call your bona fides, man. And let it be known that you are a certified pioneer, foundation builder. And if you don't understand that watching this interview, then something's wrong. So from a certified legend, pioneer, foundation builder, I'm asking you to give a word to the youth, the new cats in the Bay Area and beyond, about where they are now.
Right.
And what they need to know to sustain themselves, to be able to be walking, breathing, and doing their thing when they reach your age of maturity.
My age, old man. Basically, it's simple. Listen. It's simple. Ever since I was a kid, I always had a good heart. And that's something you have to be born with. You can't make a rugrat, you know. You can't change a person. You have to have a desire to have love in you. You're that's born right. with it, you know. And me, to these young cats, you know, I never tried to be nobody else. Even when I was Henry, before I became Budwyser. Even when I was Budwyser, before I became Wyser. Even during the time when I was younger and I preached. And I got into the street life. And then I got out in the street life and I started preaching. From the time I transitioned from Budwyser to Wyser, throughout the whole process of me getting to be 50 plus years old, I never ever changed who I was. I always had love. And anybody that know me, anybody, from male or female, from young or old, that know I've always brought love. Yeah, I might talk. That was probably my worst habit. I talk a lot. I'm a Gemini, you know. But as far as love, I always wanted to see people be happy. So I would give advice to the youngsters: be yourself. Don't try to be nobody else. I went out and I got my own cars. I didn't care about Black C had a Skylark. I had my own Skylark. So when Black C from RBL Posse jumped in his Skylark, I can jump in my Skylark. It wasn't about me trying to jump in his Skylark. You know.
I understand.
If we went to the store, you buy your food, I buy my own food. I was always my own man. I was never a copycat. And in order to be a leader, you got to first be a follower. I followed the older cats when I was younger, so that way it makes me a smarter leader. I was never one to try to, and so I tell the young cats, you know, be yourself. People will gravitate to you more when you be yourself and you be real to yourself.
That's right.
You're gonna have haters. I got haters right now, and anybody that know me like Wyser, they hate on you. Why would they hate on you? I'm not trying to. I got my own girlfriend. I'm not trying to holler at nobody else's girl. I got my own girlfriend. You know, I'm not trying to get nobody else's car. I got 4 cars. I'm not trying to get into nobody else's pocket. I got my own money. I'm not trying to live nobody else's life. It doesn't matter if we seen earlier here my boy AD Kapone. AD Kapone was to tell me, or Black C was to call me. I'm using them because these are people that y'all know. If I say names y'all don't know, y'all, but who's that? So them using people that I know. Tell me, hey man, I just bought a brand new Mercedes. I'm saying, man, that's good for you, man. It doesn't bother me. I have a Jaguar. So I've never wanted what nobody else had. I always wanted my own. I tell these young cats, listen, get your own. Make your own identity. My identity was Budwyser. You know, I was Wyser. That's who I was. I never tried to be something that I wasn't. I never wanted somebody else's success. I never wanted somebody else's lifestyle. I never was jealous. And that's one of the main things I want to say before I close it out. I never was jealous of nobody because whatever they got, they earned it. If they didn't earn it, they was going to get took from them because they got it the wrong way. Because you reap what you sow. It's karma.
That's right.
You know, so I never cared about no one else pulling out big money, having nice cars, having this and that. It didn't come out of my bank. Whatever God got for me is for me. And that's how I live my life. And that's what made me wiser to be able to know that when I wake up, I live my life a day at a time. Tomorrow's not promised to me. So I don't know what tomorrow is going to offer me. I enjoy the day. You know, get me something to eat today, go to work today, chill with my girl today. Enjoy tonight. I enjoy that. I didn't matter about tomorrow. Tomorrow's not promised. Next week is not promised. I live my life joyfully, blessed, one day at a time. And if you live your life one day at a time, and the last but not least thing is follow your dreams. I'm 52 years old and I still can float. I don't try to get out there with the young cats. And FogBay artist got a young cat named Ace, and this dude is bad. You got the what's that song he got? I'm trying to think of that song, that video he got.
Too Cocky.
Too Cocky. I seen that video and I'm seeing this youngster. The song is called Too Cocky. Y'all gotta go check it out. It's on YouTube. Just put in Ace.
Yeah, MLB Ace.
MLB Ace Too Cocky. Put that in, and I'm saying it, giving him his props because he's a young dude. He's bad, but that's him. He's doing what he do, and he's doing a good job at it. I'm not trying to be him. He's not trying to be me. He's enjoying himself, and he's coming up in the ranks as himself. That's what it do. And I gave him a bit of advice. If you just be yourself, man, and come up as yourself and enjoy your own success. You can't enjoy my success, and I can't enjoy yours. I don't try to compare myself to these youngsters. These kids out here, all these youngsters coming up, and all this music, you can mumble jumble, you can bear all that computer voice. Listen, I'm going to give you Wyser voice. I'm going to give you
I hear you, man. Hey, Wyser, man, we thank you and we honor you, man, at FogBay TV for coming by.
Uh-huh.
And, man, you got to come back.
Oh, man, you know, y'all family, man. Y'all got to be in this movie I got, man. Listen, I want y'all to come and be a part of this movie, man. I got a spot for y'all in this movie, man. This movie's coming soon, so y'all look out for this movie by Wyser. It'll be put out there. If you don't have 90X, go get 90X and subscribe to it. And then also, I'm going to see if I can send a link over to FogBay Entertainment and have them post it on their thing because I'm doing this interview. And get with it. Get with the real people. Listen, this all this fake stuff ain't going to make it. Y'all got to get with the real.
That's right. Brother, this is the first of many, man. You coming back soon?
I can't wait, man. I appreciate you guys having me. I pray of y'all success, man. Y'all doing something good, man, in the community, man. You're doing something good for the Bay needs goodness right now with all this, COVID-19 happening. And you was able to still get me in. You see, we got the social media in here. They got tape all over the floor everywhere. I ain't got my mask on, so don't go tell Trump on me. But I know we gonna be good, bro.
Thank you, Wyser.
I appreciate it, man.